Day 19, Jane's third day on the stand, and everything changed. If you've been following Sean Diddy Combs' federal racketeering trial, buckle up, because today was a turning point. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, testifying under the pseudonym Jane, took the stand for a third day. But unlike her previous appearances, today's testimony was raw, explosive, and eerily aligned with the same type of violence and coercion described by Cassie Ventura in her bombshell lawsuit. In short, prosecutors may have just moved one step closer to proving racketeering. And if you've ever wondered what it's like inside Diddy's world during the most scandalous 18 months of his life, you got a front row seat. Jurors were shown graphic texts, voice notes, and even audio of how Diddy reacted when CNN aired the now infamous hotel hallway video of him assaulting Cassie, a video he allegedly believed had been buried forever. We also got a peek behind the curtain at the emotional aftermath of Cassie's lawsuit and how Diddy allegedly tried to control, manipulate, and silence Jane in the weeks that followed. But before diving in, let's address the elephant in the courtroom. Where are all the co-conspirators? Well, witnesses have mentioned security guards, assistants, and most notably, his longtime chief of staff, Christina KK Coram. And today, we learned she might be preparing to testify. Odds are, KK has either been offered immunity, or she's facing a decision that could land her behind bars for years. Let's get into the meat of it. The escalation Jane picked up where she left off on Friday, describing life after a disturbing hotel night. For the uninitiated, hotel nights are allegedly orchestrated sex sessions involving paid male escorts, filmed while Diddy watched and pleasured himself. Up to now, Jane had described the coercion as mostly financial, fear of eviction, losing her livelihood. But today, she detailed a new layer: physical violence. According to Jane, Diddy flew one of the same escorts, a man named Cabral, to Miami just days after the hotel night in New York. Part 2, she called it. The travel across state lines, the setup, the money. These are critical elements in a federal sex trafficking case. In Los Angeles, their relationship erupted into a violent fight. Texts from October 2023 showed Jane resisting another party with escorts. "I'm not an animal. I'm not a porn star," she texted. Diddy responded, "Girl, stop. I need you." Later, "I really need you for real." The digital evidence. Jane testified that Diddy would alternate between begging and berating her, especially during drug come-downs. The messages grew darker and more desperate. She accused him of using her like a sex worker. His response? "So we're breaking up." She told the jury these hotel nights gave her PTSD. "3 years of me having to have sex with strangers," she wrote. "I'm tired." At one point, she asked for rent money. He told her to leave me the F alone. Then came a chilling threat. Jane testified that Diddy said he'd show explicit videos of her to her child's father if she didn't stay quiet. That's dangerously close to extortion, a predicate act in a racketeering case. KK enters the chat. When Diddy allegedly threatened her with those tapes, Jane reached out to KK, his right-hand woman. The texts were shown in court. Jane begged KK to talk some sense into him. KK urged her to stay calm, but also warned that things could escalate into a situation like we're in now, which Jane interpreted as a second lawsuit. Classic obstruction vibes? You bet. Violence, escalation, and that birthday. Jane described an altercation in June 2024 after the federal raids on Diddy's homes. They were drinking. Jane accused him of dating someone underage. Things spiraled out of control, doors were kicked in, there were chokeholds, punches, being dragged by the hair. She escaped barefoot into the night, hid behind a wall for hours, and eventually returned home, only to be attacked again. And then, he made her take ecstasy. He summoned Antoine, an escort. Jane said she was forced to perform oral sex on him while Diddy watched. Afterward, she paid Antoine. Then she was reimbursed by Diddy's team. This wasn't some off-the-books kink. If true, it shows Diddy using his enterprise, his people, his money, his power to orchestrate sex acts. And that's what racketeering hinges on, the fallout. Jane says she tried to leave, but Diddy allegedly threatened her financially, emotionally, and physically. Even after the raids, she said he continued to pay for her rent, her lawyers, and even her therapy. And it didn't stop there. One of the escorts, Cabral, allegedly tried to extort Jane, threatening to release a 35-minute video unless she paid him $10,000. She refused. The tape never surfaced. She doesn't know why. But then came the moment that shocked everyone. Jane said she was in bed with Diddy when one of his sons knocked on the door. "Something happened," he said. On her phone, the CNN footage, Diddy beating Cassie. According to Jane, the team scrambled to craft an apology. She helped with the draft. But when she saw the final post, it had changed. Lawyered up, sanitized, hollow. Today made it clearer than ever why prosecutors are leaning on Jane's testimony. At first it seemed murky. Was this just a toxic relationship or something criminal? But when the violence, threats, enterprise money, interstate sex acts, and staff involvement are all layered in, we're no longer in awful boyfriend territory. We're in federal crime territory. Tomorrow, Jane faces cross-examination. If today was brutal for Diddy, tomorrow could be even worse for her. Stay tuned. This is very serious business. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Daily News You Can Use for more breaking news when we go live or when we upload. See you soon.